Hey guys, and welcome back to the Zone 2 podcast. My name, as always, is Luke Hubner. I'm joined here today, as always, by my co-host, Mark Sato. And as for all the Tour de France videos, we have here Evan Richardson. Today is another tour recap. So we did one after the first rest day, and we're doing one on the second rest day before we head into the last week. So we're going to be going over all the races that have happened since the last rest day. So we begin on stage 10.
Sweet.
Evan, take it away.
Stage 10, beautiful flat stage. We all, at this point, sprinters are kind of out of the race. We had some OTLs, some not making the time cut after the first week that we talked about. So Merlier's not here anymore. Demar's not here anymore. Ewan crashed out. So super reduced field and just dominance of the quick step lead out train. They have like a 4-man lead out train for Cav. All the other sprinters here have like one max, really. So what, this was win 33?
33.
33. Cav taking home the win.
Wow.
Yeah, just one away from the Marks record, which we'll get to later.
This one is the first sprint stage that Wout was allowed to sprint for, though, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Now that Roglic left the race, Wout given a little bit more freedom, which we might see more of a little bit later down the line.
Yeah, and he was able to get second, which is pretty good. I mean, considering Quickstep has all the firepower in the world when it comes to lead out trains, while getting second with really no lead out.
No lead out. He worked for himself for the last like 4K.
Yeah.
He also almost beat Cav.
Yeah, it was close. It was close. That one.
Also, really good to see from Cav because in the first week he had that stage where he cut off Merlier to block a sprinting lane. Cav could have blocked off Wout's lane on the right-hand side of the road, but he sprinted straight, which I enjoyed seeing that. It wouldn't have been illegal for Cav to just move over and shut down Wout at that point because he had, a big lead in front when he started his sprint, but yeah, nice to see.
Yeah, in this stage we also had two people in the breakaway, including a Canadian. Hugo Houle was off the front for the majority of the day, which was always nice to see. I mean, those like sprint stage suicide breakaways, they're not really worth much other than TV exposure and the combative prize, but Houle was able to get both. So it's always good to see Canadians doing stuff at the tour.
Super important combative prize.
That's right. Most important prize of the tour.
Exactly. It was interesting because before the Tour de France, Mark Cavendish was at 30 wins, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was at 30. I was watching a video from the 2016 Olympics 5 years ago, and or it might have been a 6 day 4 years ago, but it was a long time ago, this video of him doing the track, and then he had 30. So it's been like such a dry period. I didn't realize he's been such a long dry period, and now he's come back and won 4 stages in a race, which we'll get to later. But
has he been to the tour recently? I don't think he was even at the tour for a while.
No.
Yeah,
No, wasn't there?
There was like he wasn't selected.
There was a lot of drama over. There's like some politics because someone didn't want Eddie Merckx record to fall.
Probably Eddie Merckx.
He was on.
Yeah, probably Eddie Merckx.
You might see again.
I mean,
stage 19, Eddie Merckx out there with a sign on the side of the road, leaning in, looking at the camera.
Yeah, he's got to say hi to his grandparents. So Eddie Merckx, might be saying hi to his grandparents
at all costs. Defend the record.
Defend the record. Doesn't he? He still has the record for the most amount of like grand tour wins, doesn't he? Though
he's still tied for Tour de France.
I think he might have most Grand Tours, like Giro. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure he does, or he might have.
Pretty sure he has that one. But he's tied for the most Tour de France with 5, with like a whole bunch of Galen Duran, uh, Jack Von Coutil. Probably forgetting somebody. I don't know. I know those four. There might be a fifth, but I'm not sure. Yeah, so shall we
5 more
move on to
years.
stage? So we move on to stage 11.
Yeah,
Yeah,
double Vaughn
let's-
2.
Oh, big day. Mount Ventoux, I've actually climbed it before. I don't know if you guys saw that I posted that on Instagram, but I climbed it when I was 14.
Did you climb the
So-
steep side?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Pretty sick, pretty hype. The top is so beautiful, like the weird, like desolate landscape. It's so cool. But yeah, they climbed it 3 times, was it?
Two.
Was it
2
3?
times.
Yeah, 3 times. 2.
It's 2. It's not 3. It's 2.
They did the gentle side with like a road, and then they did the traditional side. Like the highway up it, and then the traditional side.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it was a big day. Big day for the GC because it was the first time Pogačar showed weakness, which
That is
we saw that
true.
coming. Yeah.
We saw nice Vingegaard just attack, and Pogačar snapped on. You know, you're watching it, you think like, oh, you know, it doesn't matter, Pogačar's just snapping on, but then he gets his pain face, which you see on Pogačar very rarely, and he slipped back. Didn't make a difference in the end, because Vingegaard got caught through the descent, but still showing weakness for the first time in the Tour. I don't think he showed enough weakness to be worried about his lead, but it's nice to see that he's not invincible.
Yeah, it's annoying when people are like completely immortal. So thank God. Maybe he'll have a massive bonk on the final. Is there a time trial stage 20?
Stage 20 time trial.
Yeah, so maybe he'll just completely wipe out on that, and Narcantana.
I really doubt it. I don't know, Luke. Why are you such a hater, my man? Why are you such a hater?
Mark, he doesn't like Pogačar at all.
I don't.
I don't know why, man. Anyway, so we should talk about the actual stage
story.
Talk about the stage win. Everybody has a story, first of all. Everyone has a story. But
Yeah,
the stage win was actually, in my opinion, even more impressive than Vingegaard or Pogačar recovering. Who won the stage, Evan?
Wout van Aert. I mean, winning the biggest climbing stage of the entire tour. Wout, what can't he do? I know, like, I saw all over social media, people are just like, Wout's the greatest rider at the tour. Like, screw Pogačar. Wout can win any race he lines up for. I mean, you just love to see it, honestly. It just makes you happy.
Yeah, so Wout was in the breakaway all day. Eventually dropped everyone else from the breakaway. Was able to go solo up the second ascent of Ventoux. Stayed away on the descent.
Which is really steep.
Yeah, really steep. Quite steep, as Luke knows, because he wrote
He's
it.
ridden it.
I did climb it. It is steep.
Much like I Everest did.
It is when you ride it, it is angled. Mm-hmm.
It is angled, as are most climbs.
I think this was also, it's kind of a repeating theme of this week, but I mean, there were some other strong climbers in the break, but people have been really aggressively riding for low point KOM sprints, like for Cat 3s, Cat 4s from the break, and just absolutely gassing their legs, which makes no sense because like second ascent of Ventoux had 40 points. And some of these Cat 3s and Cat like 4s earlier on have, 10, 5, 2, 1 points. Like way less points like 1 comparatively. Yeah, 1 pointers. And you just see guys like Quintana, Poles, Woods just like sprinting their heart out for like 1 point and then getting dropped by on paper worst climber for the 40-point climbs.
Yeah. That's because they know these people are out of their league, so they just try and get the points where they can. It's like snowball, track snowball, where it's like every lap there's a point and it gains. And so if you're not strong enough to compete with people at the end, you just go for the ones at the start because it's easier to get. There's less competition.
I love snowball. The last snowball, I was like, off the front for the past like the last 20 laps with like one other guy. So many points. Yeah, sweet.
I did poorly last snowball. It's a hard one.
It's sort of a weird race. Anyway, on to stage 12. And this one is another sort of bumpy sprint stage. But would it come down to a sprint or would it be taken by a breakaway?
Yeah, I mean, this was supposed to be a sprint stage. Race organizers probably wanted to be a sprint stage. But there's really only one sprint team left here that's going to do work, and it's Quickstep. And Quickstep were tired. Hard day yesterday. They seemed pretty content. There was a Cav interview after the race that I listened to. He was like, yeah, it felt good to take a day off. And they had Alaphilippe in the break for a while too, right? So they like fully pretty early on committed to not chasing, which meant that it would be a breakaway win, not a sprint stage. And from the break, we have Niels Paulett, which another rider who's kind of been freed by a sprinter leaving the race. No more Sagan at this point, right? Did he drop out the day before?
Yeah, it was the day before. Well, yeah, he didn't start due to knee pain from the crash on stage 3 with Caleb Ewan. But yeah, Niels Paulett, he was in the breakaway, attacked the breakaway. He was attacking a lot. He had seemed to attack like, I don't know, 3-4 times before eventually one stuck. And he went solo and that's it, really. Just held it to the line.
Now this Sagan knee pain is real knee pain, not Caleb Ewan Giro knee pain. To specify.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did crash. So
but there's lots of sprinters who will be like, oh no, I have knee pain. I have to leave the race before the mountains. Shucks.
Just yeah, that's probably what Mark would do, to be honest. Actually, Mark's Everested, so.
That's right. I have Everested. I mean, I wouldn't.
Mark's climbing's gotten pretty fast. It's pretty speedy.
Bit off topic. But I don't understand people when they're always like, oh, they're a good climber, oh, they're a bad climber. Like literally all that means is you weigh less.
And like climbing form is different from riding form. Also.
Yeah.
But mostly just watts per kilo.
You recruit different muscles as well.
Is it? Oh.
If you weigh nothing, but you always train on flats, you won't be a good climber.
Yeah. Well, I always train on hills, so watch out.
Your hills are also like 200 meters long, but that's okay.
Sorry for the interruption, but I need to let you know that this episode of the Zone 2 podcast is brought to you by our friends over at Born Superior Sports Care. David Miller and Michael Wegner, the go-to guys when it comes to all things nutrition. Born is my personal favorite when it comes to all things sport nutrition and sport care. Personally, I'm a big fan of the ISO Pro Plus drink mix. I use it all the time. Some other customer favorites include the Watson Minerals for nutrition and hydration, gels for preventing bonking while racing, no friction cream to keep you comfortable while riding or racing, and Recovery Relax to do exactly that after a long, long day in the saddle. To buy some of Born's fantastic product, please visit bornsportcare.ca for Canadian orders and bornsportcare.com for American orders, and use code ZONE2podcast for 15% off all non-sale items. That's code ZONE2podcast for 15% off all non-sale items. Now, back to the podcast.
So, all right, so stage 14 now. I was super excited at the finish of this one. Because of my guy, Cavendish. But no spoilers yet. My bad.
What do you mean we're talking about
Evan,
it? It's not a spoiler.
I know,
34.
I guess. You're right. It was a few days ago. Anyway, Evan, walk us through stage 14.
I mean, well, this is stage 13, isn't it?
Oh, 13. Sorry,
13.
My bad.
Another sprint stage. This one was a lot flatter, so much less chance of a breakaway. Quickstep wasn't giving the breakaway any time. I think they were dangling pretty close most of the stage, if I remember correctly. But coming into the end, you just see that Quickstep train dominance again. There was a DSM train, which was trying to rival Quick Step train. DSM sprinter, of course, Says Bowl, who is a great sprinter. He's just had a few off days. Me and Mark disagree on this. I think he could win a stage.
No, he's a great sprinter. Obviously he's a world tour sprinter. I just, obviously I'm a bit of a Cavendish fanboy. So I personally believe that Cavendish is going to win. Obviously his 35th stage, I think will win later, one of the 2 remaining sprint stages. And, if I think someone were to beat him, I would more lean towards someone like Van Aert or I guess that's sort of the only other sprinter left. Philipsen is still here. Someone like that. I don't,
The thing that
Bull is
stood
great. Bull is great. No disrespect to Bull. Don't get it twisted.
The thing stood out to me most about this finish is the fact that Murku, who's Cavendish's leadout man, best leadout man in the game, sat up and coasted to not beat Cavendish. You saw him. His leadout was so good that he had to stop sprinting, sit up a bit, and then he biked through the line to beat Philipsen. So we get a quick step 1-2 with Cav Murku. And this isn't like the Alpecin 1-2 in stage 3 where everyone crashed and there was no sprint field. This was the entire sprint field that's left in the race, and the leadout man came second. So that just shows you how dominant Quick Step are in these sprints.
I think what I might do is I might actually try to play the video of the sprint next to this, because I want to just say something really quick, and I'll edit this part out if it doesn't work. I can't figure out how to edit it in, or if there's some copyright issues or something. But if you guys see to the side of me, or I don't know where it's going to be, but if you guys look right as DSM is taking the corner, they're coming in super, super hot, which is great. They're moving Bull up. And they're really swarming the Quick Step train. You see Asgreen is on the front for Quick Step. He's sort of moving a little bit slower. You see he's fatigued, but they don't want Ballerini to take over until as late as possible so that everyone's fresher. But you see DSM, they come around this corner and they don't change their lane at all. They go straight to the middle. Personally, I saw that Mark Renshaw also said this on his Instagram. He does like these sprint videos, but I think DSM, if they had gone to the left-hand side, right to the barriers, they are already past Quick Step. I don't think it would have been unsafe. I think they would have shut off the Quick Step train. All of the other sprinters would have come on the right-hand side of the road, and then Quick Step would have been kind of boxed, and they would have had to fight their way out of it. Quick Step might have been able to, because obviously the strongest lead out left in the race, but I think had DSM just gone to the left out of that corner, then they would have greatly improved their chances of winning. That's just my opinion.
I totally agree, except for the fact that Says Bull was dropping as their lead out was happening. So no matter how well they did their lead out, he was dropped. I think he came 40th on the day.
Well, as the lead out man, I think it's Niels Eekhoff was the lead out man.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know that, but
yeah, the power of hindsight.
Yeah, of course.
This was definitely the closest kind of finish. It wasn't pure Quick Step on the front. It was almost a Ballerini reverse lead out too, because Ballerini, when he launched, Murku was not in his wheel, and he kind of got a little gap off the front, and then Murku managed to just weave Cavendish back into the final sprint. Just again shows how strong Murku is as a lead out man. That he was hitting wind, surfing wheels before his time normally, and still came second.
Yeah, obviously, I think he's the best lead out man in the world right now. Definitely one of the best of all time. All right, well, the next stage. What was the next stage, Evan?
And it was a rolling course, right? This was the one in the preview we identified as almost certain to be a breakaway, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
A lot of medium mountains, a lot of Cat 3, Cat 4 kind of climbs. And we saw just a big break happen with Mike Woods. It's kind of exciting, Canadians. And he was just going at it really hard for some KOM points against Wout Poles, because before the stage they were pretty close. I think they were within 3 points of each other. So we have breakaway, a whole bunch of attacks for KOM points. And then partway through, 40K to go, Bauke Mollema. He's, solo breakaway specialist. That's how he's won his past Tour de France stage. He says, this is enough. You guys have been doing too much work. I'm going to go. And he went and he stayed, taking home a stage win for Trek as the first of the tour. And good for the team, since they really brought it. Woo! A team that was meant for stage wins and they weren't getting any. So nice to see.
Because they don't have any GC, do they? Well, they have
Nibley.
Nibley, right? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sort of looked like the rest of the breakaway. They thought that Mollema was going too early. It looked like they sort of just looked at each other like, oh, 40K to go. This guy's going to get caught. But no, I mean, obviously Mollema had amazing legs, was able to hold it. And, we saw in the Von 2 stage, he was third with his teammate Kenny Ellison. So obviously his climbing legs are extremely good. And I mean,
This move was really
say.
smart, because there were some much stronger climbers in this breakaway. And I believe right near the end, there was a Cat 2 climb, another climb before the
Yeah,
finish.
yes.
And launching with 40K to go, he had more time to open a gap in the flats and the descents. He actually launched on a descent. That way he had enough of a gap that when the fast climbers hit the climb, they would have to work together. Like no single rider could attack out of that group and close the gap to him on the climb. So he completely changed the dynamic of the break, because I think most of these riders were waiting for the climb, who's the strongest on the climb, who's going to win the stage. And he kind of just rewrote the feel of the stage for lots of these people in the break.
Yeah, and I don't think any of those other guys, I could be mistaken, but I don't think any of them had teammates. I'm just looking at the results here. Doesn't look like anyone really had or any duplicate.
There were two
teams,
B&B
so,
riders, but they had bridged.
right? So they were obviously a bit more tired. So
They were tired.
I mean, yeah, it's a smart move, great legs, all around good day.
We saw the Mike Woods amazing descending. Took the front, got a little front wheel slip. Everyone behind him luckily didn't crash. They seemed to be very in control, steered around. It was really, I was disappointed. I was upset when I saw that, because I love Mike Woods. I love watching him race, and I want him to do well. And I think this crash affected him a little bit. And, he's just doesn't have the same descending skill as some of the other people in the race at the Pro Tour. And if he could improve that, he would have a way better chance of winning so many stages.
And I think he will, right? Obviously, it's been identified not just by us, but again, cycling media as a whole. That's probably his biggest weakness. That's sort of holding him back a little bit from attacking on these stages that have a lot of descending. So,
stages that have climbs
mean,
have descending. That's
yeah,
how it works.
obviously, I think he's just I think he'll work on it, and next year come back. Maybe later, even this year, maybe he'll come back and better than ever. All right, stage 15, yesterday's stage. Which for us is this morning's stage. Listening to this.
Yeah, I woke up, turned the stage on, 10-minute break, 32 riders. It was not any motivation from the GC group. They were pretty happy, sit back. But the break, all the names in here. There was Wout, there's Sepp Kuss, Dan Martin, Alaphilippe was there. Like the strength of this break was just basically who wants to be in the break, who's strong.
Mohoric as well, he was there.
Yeah, Mohoric. There was triple on my fantasy team. I captained Mohoric today again. Very optimistic. He's not the best climber to win a stage like this, but he had 3 teammates when I woke up and checked what the break was in the Race Center app, and I turned on the stage and I was hopeful, but wasn't his day.
Yeah, like Will says, Valverde was there, Wout Poels, Woods was there as well. So yeah, we saw that UAE, they were happy to let it go. there was no real GC threats in there. I think the closest like 26 minutes down. UAE, they let it go out to 10 minutes. 1 point, it was like 10 and a half or so. Then, yeah, obviously there's some big heavy hitters in the KOM jersey. We had Woods, Van Aert, Poles. They were fighting it out, and Quintana as well. They were fighting it out at every mountain top for the KOM points. And Woods unfortunately lost the KOM jersey. And I believe it's in Poles' hands now.
Oh, we can check.
Pretty sure he has the jersey now. But yeah, they were fighting for it. So
Yeah,
it looked like
74 points. Michael Woods 66 points.
it looked like they were just kind of going all in for that. And less so the stage win. Then
This was also the breakaway. Like nobody was even close. 30 minutes on GC was closest. Unlike the day before where they let Guillaume the Goat Martin, who was only 10 minutes down, come 6 minutes
better
back.
get back to that later. Yeah. So yeah, and then the GC group, we saw Ineos pacing. They were pacing really hard up the penultimate climb. Yeah. And then they were just trying to thin out the group. It made sense to me. They were trying to put the hurt on for some of the other podium contenders. It looks like Ineos, they've really given up on trying to beat Pogačar because he has a 5-minute lead, and they're really just trying to fight for the podium. So they were able to thin it out. And over the top of the penultimate climb, we saw Guillaume Martin get dropped. It looked like from what I saw, he was sort of struggling at the back, and he made it over the climb, but right at the crest, he didn't maintain the pressure on quite long enough and let a gap open up to the descent. And he has a solo descent on this long 20K, not that steep descent, sort of a pedaling descent. And that was not going to be an easy task to try to close that. Obviously, he's an extremely light guy, super good climber. But yeah, the gap just exploded, and I think he ended up on 9 minutes on GC, but he started at 4 minutes at the start of the day. So 5 minutes lost.
That's not that
a
bad.
great day.
In the middle of the stage, they played an interview with Guillaume Martin, where he was like, I'm honored to be in second in GC. I'm gonna fight for it, but I'm like really tired from yesterday, and I wouldn't be surprised if I lost 10 to 15 minutes, is what he said.
Okay. I didn't see that. I might have been asleep after I watched these. Like, I turn it on, I just sort of fall asleep sometimes.
I think that was like 7 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah. But and then at the front we saw an attack. Well, actually multiple attacks from Quintana trying to get away, but then eventually Sepp Kuss attacked, and that is the one that's stuck. He went clear on the final climb. Valverde also went clear trying to chase him, and those gaps held at around 30 seconds to Valverde, and then I forget how much of a lead Valverde had on the rest of the breakaway, but
about 50 seconds,
something like that. But yeah, those gaps look like Sepp Kuss was defending really, really well. I mean, Valverde is known to be a good descender, but Sepp Kuss was actually putting time into him on the descent. And yep, first American stage winner in the tour in 10 years.
Sweet.
Sort of surprising when I heard that.
One reason Sepp Kuss could descend these roads so well is he does live in Andorra.
Yeah.
So it is his home territory. He's probably descended these roads a lot. It's like if me and Mark were doing a descent in the States, we might not be that fast. If we were doing a descent down Seymour, which Mark's done, 10 times in one day.
Yeah, that's right. I was about to say, I've descended that mountain 10 times in one day.
We'd be pretty good at it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah, I mean, great to see Sepp Kuss, who's, imprisoned domestique most of the time, getting a chance for a stage win and, really showing how strong his legs are. We haven't seen much of him this tour, but nice to see.
Yeah, and then no real change in the GC other than Guillaume Martin calling back. All right. So that is the recap for all of the stages so far. Let's go on to some predictions for the final 6 stages of the tour.
Okay.
So what I was thinking, guys, last week we just sort of amended our predictions from the preview. But there's so many shakeups. Some people are not on form. Some people crashed out. Some people are injured. So I was thinking for the last 6 stages, we do fully new predictions.
Whew, I'm down.
Luke, what do you think?
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay, Luke is not really coming with the energy, but that's okay.
Sorry. I've had my biggest week of training I've ever done, so.
Sweet.
Well, that's cool, Luke. So let's
Thank
go
you.
to
Thank you.
stage.
Moving to Victoria was really cool. Thank you for asking.
Luke moved to Victoria, everyone.
It's true.
Let's
There's
move
way more
on.
stop
Yeah.
signs.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
I still
More than one.
averaged 31 kilometers per hour today and 200 watts.
Sweet.
You. All right, stage 16. I'm gonna try to put the profile on the screen if you're watching on YouTube because I got some feedback that said that we should do that because some other cycling podcasts that are not as good as ours, well maybe they're good, I don't know, but that are more popular than ours are doing that. So you want to be able to see it. Stage 16 goes from Luke. What are the cities?
Yeah, Luke,
Please
can you
read them
think?
for us.
Of stage 16?
Pull it
give
up,
me a
pull it
second,
up.
give me a second, give me a second. Okay, rest day. Stage 16 goes from the city of Pas de la Casse to Saint Gaudez.
That's right, per pronunciation, Luke. So it
Thank
starts
you.
downhill.
Thank you.
The first 35-ish K are sort of this long, slight downhill. And then there's 3 categorized climbs, a Cat 2, a Cat 1, a Cat 2, and then finally a Cat 4 right before the finish. To me, this looks like it's going to be a breakaway.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Alaphilippe.
That's a good shout.
Alaphilippe. Let me just try to
That's my
find the
prediction.
I think a really big difference on what this stage is going to look like is if the decisive break is formed on a climb or a descent. Because the type of riders that can make it in the break on a descent versus a climb are very different. If a break forms in these first 20 Ks downhill, I'm back in March. Like he's making in the break. Alaphilippe could make it in the break. You know, these great descenders. If it's on the climb, you could see riders like Mike Woods, a lot of descending, but it finishes without a descent too close to the finish. So maybe. And then other riders that are really good climbers who've been in the break over and over again, not found their glory yet. Higuita, Esteban Chavez. Those were names I would look out for on this day.
Yeah, I think we're at that point in the tour now where basically it's more or less the same people in the break every day. We know who has good legs. We know who's not injured. So I don't think the people will be that different than today.
Should we do some predictions?
Luke, you picked Alaphilippe.
I already did, yeah. Before I knew anything, I was like, it's Alaphilippe. Just, yeah.
Okay, so as much as I'd love to pick Van Aert, I think he's going to be saving his legs for the next day because the next day is a summit finish where he's going to be working for the team. So I think he'll be imprisoned for today.
Maybe it's pretty strong. He can do a bunch of work and then still do work.
I know, but I think the team probably imprison him, not let him go in the break, make him chill out in the peloton for today. Tradition. Come back to me, Evan. You
I will go for Higuita. Strong climber. He's also got a pretty nasty kick to the line if he's in a group with a few other climbers. And it's not a summit finish, so I'm gonna shout out Higuita.
you know what? I'm gonna go with Valverde.
Whew.
You know,
Grandpa taking on more.
I'm not that confident, but
Has he
he
done
looked good today.
anything this tour?
He was
Second.
second today.
Oh, was he?
Yesterday.
Yeah, sorry, right. I'm being like Luke. He was second yesterday. Okay, so Evan, you said right. Moving on to stage 17, and this one is only our second summit finish, 2 of 3. Yeah, so this one should be a GC battle, I think.
Climbing. I would hope it's a GC battle. I would be really disappointed if I woke up today and saw a breakout at 10 minutes. Like
Yeah.
UAE, they don't need to do anything. They don't need to, set up Pogacar, let Pogacar crush some other GC guys. But I really
Did we
hope they
mention-
do.
Did we mention this stage starts at Moret? Moret
Oh yes, please. Moret to where?
to Saint Larry Sullen.
St. Larry.
Saint Larry.
That's some
Ending-
great pronunciation.
16 kilometers at 8.7%. That's a
Yeah.
hard climb.
Yeah.
Only the
Yeah, that
Col de
best
Potet.
climbers. There's no chance. Sorry. If Wout wins on this, like, oh my God. Only the pure climbers are really going to do well on this stage. So Pogacar, Vingegaard, maybe Chavez, maybe who else? Woods could do well. Maybe Colbrelli. He's a pure climber now.
Yeah, that's right. So on the preview, Evan, you said Cosnefroy, and
Whew.
Luke and I both said Pogacar for this one. So
I was thinking
Cosnefroy would
Pogacar.
be from the break, for sure, because he's got that descending. He would not be able to win from a pack. I think he hasn't really had the legs this year. If I was gonna shout out a climber from the break, it would be Chavez. But I think hopefully GC is gonna go, and I'm gonna say Vingegaard because he cracked Pogacar earlier. Maybe he can do it again.
yeah, I'm going to go with Rigoberto.
Oh, the conservative rider winning a hilltop finish.
That's right. I'm down. I mean, obviously, Evan's sort of destroying us. The points, I believe, are
Oh, yeah.
9 to Evan, 7 to me, and 6 for Luke. So
Wait, I have 6. Let's go. Oh, because I predicted Mark Cavendish. Let's go.
we're yeah. So 2 points isn't that much, but none of us are really scoring many points here. Really not that good. So I'm kind of going like I want to pick things that others aren't. I think if I get Iran, sort of like he's definitely going to be like top 4, but I'm hoping he can sneak into that top 3 so I get at least 1 point. Luke, what are you going to say?
I'm sticking with Pogacar for this stage.
Sounds good.
I'd love to see it. Me and Mark
I
were
wouldn't,
talking on a
but I think
ride.
it'll
Mark
happen.
thinks maybe they send Pogacar just for the photo op. It's good to get a photo of your winner winning at a mountaintop finish.
Oh wait, I was looking at the wrong stage. My mistake. Yeah, you did not pick Cosnefroy actually. Yeah, you picked Roglic, but I'm gonna your pick.
Yeah, I must pick Cosnefroy for the stage before this.
Yeah, my mistake.
Yeah,
I was
that
looking
makes
at the
much
wrong
more
one.
sense. I was like, geez, I was way too hyped on Cosnefroy.
Yeah, I was thinking, wow, you really were high on Cosnefroy. Never mind. So I actually I had
Stage 16.
Woods on
Stage
this.
16 would be a decent Cosnefroy stage. I stand by that.
Yeah, my mistake. My bad, guys. All right. On to stage 18. Stage 18 is yet another summit finish.
Well, what
Okay.
town to what town?
Yes, that's the most important part. Stage 18, you say?
Yeah.
Stage 18. Good. It's from Pau to Les Ardingden.
Yep.
Yeah.
Les Ardingden. So it's the final climb is 13.5K at 7.4%. And they also go over the
It's called
Tourmalet.
Grust. Oh, is that a town they go through?
Tourmalet
They
classic.
go over the Tourmalet as the penultimate. As the final. But yeah, I think this one's probably going to be another GC one. I don't
Hopefully.
even know if it needs to be controlled simply because I think the GC guys are only going to be the only ones that have the legs to.
If there's a break with Woods, Chavez, they could hold off Pogacar, Vingegaard potentially. Potentially. But yes,
So
probably a GC guy. Who did I predict for this one?
all 3 of us picked Roglic, who is out of the race.
Ooh. Toss up. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'll go for Mike Woods.
Yeah, that's a good one. I was sort of thinking that could be good too.
Is
Wait,
the
what about-
Tourmalet descent technical? No.
I don't
I
really
don't know.
know.
If
to
it's
be
not
honest.
technical, Woods isn't. If it's technical, Woods isn't going to win. But if it's decent, then Woods for this stage.
That's a long way from the finish, though.
Yeah, but if
Oh.
he gets dropped,
So-
No,
All right, Luke. What about you?
Oh, that's
What's
true.
your
You. Sorry. I'll go. I'm gonna go with Michael Woods.
Canadian.
Double
Just like a-
Woods.
Double Woods.
Double Woods. You know, I'm gonna
Well,
do what
wood- You only have a woods if there's multiple trees. So that was a terrible joke. Let's move on.
That was a terrible joke. So I'm gonna go with Pogacar simply because I think that, this is sort of a dumb reason, I think. But yeah, Evan and I were talking yesterday when we were riding.
No, 2 days ago.
Pogacar. Right, my mistake. 2 days ago when we were riding. I was confused. It's like, what? No, we rode yesterday. No. Yeah, 2 days ago. That Pogacar he won the first time trial. And he's probably, in my opinion, gonna win the second time trial because I think he's just
Yeah.
here. So I think that he's won 2 stages, but he's never had like a picture that UAE can post everywhere. Pogacar with his hands up, like winning a road stage. Sort of like, the famous like Geraint Thomas winning on Alpe d'Huez in the yellow jersey. Something like that. So I'm gonna go with Pogacar. The smart thing would be don't sprint for the bonus seconds when you're 5 minutes ahead. But I think, UAE, they're
I
gonna
got you
want
for
the
the
picture.
gram.
They're gonna want the picture. This is the final mountain stage. Then they have a rest, like a sprint stage the day after, and then it's a time trial. So I think he can go to this ride in with the group, and then sprint at the end for the bonus and the picture.
What about Greipel? Are we considering Greipel enough for this stage?
I was thinking about it when I was picking my
He's
ride.
probably
So
saving his
Greipel-
legs for GC.
That's right. Actually, that's a good point. So if you guys are on cycling Twitter at all, which I dabble in a little bit of cycling Twitter every now and then. So I was looking the other day. And cycling Twitter is all like hyped about the Greipel, Cavendish, Froome GC race. Which one of the 3 will win? And I think at the moment Greipel is winning.
Let me find. They're like 100th, right?
Yeah, something like 130.
Okay. Look for that German
update on
flag.
Let's get an update on him.
Greipel's in 114th. He's 2 hours, 20 minute back.
Okay. Pretty solid.
And Chris Froome is 137th, 2 hours, 38 minutes back. So it's 18-minute gap to Froome.
Wow. Got 18 minutes into his teammate and GC.
Oh, but Cav's even higher. Is Cav in first? Let me find
Cav
this.
might be in first. Cav's got the team. Greipel and Froome, they're on the same team. So they're sort of like allies. They're sort of
Oh,
like
there's no way he's I must have missed
Froome
him.
and Wiggins.
He still has the British flag though, right? Even though he's from
Yeah, he doesn't have the
Isle of Man.
Isle of Man. They have the flag with like the 3 legs, the red flag with the 3 legs on it. Bit of an interesting flag. Sorry for the delay, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Mark Cavendish is behind Froome. He's at 2 hours
Oh.
44.
So
he's
further 6 minutes
22,
behind.
24 minutes behind Greipel. So Greipel's got a sizable lead at this point. But can he
Yeah,
hold it through the
Greipel-
mountains?
That is a good question. We
Right.
really gotta-
Unlike the real GC race here, we're not winning by minutes. Like
This is
1
the
minute,
real
30
GC race. What are
seconds.
you talking about? This is the real GC race.
Chris Froome could easily gain 30 minutes on Greipel at the stage if Chris Froome stays longer.
This is true.
Like this is
Yeah.
huge.
Good
variance.
Anyway, so back to the stage wins. I mean, not to say that's not important. That is an extremely important GC race. We'll be placing bets on the side. Anyway, So the stage 19 is the final sprint stage before Paris, of course. And will Cav get his record-breaking 35th stage win or not? What do you guys think?
Okay. This sprint, it's a little bit, few hills. Maybe Cav's a little bit tired. Maybe Merku passes the line first.
What do you think? What do you think? I think Merku rather slam on the brakes and come to a complete stop than let that.
If you're quick step, would you rather Cav win his 35th in Paris?
You know,
Do
this
you
is a
want
good
a sprint
debate.
for him here?
This is a good debate because
Yes, because
obviously
36.
it'll be cooler, like him winning, breaking the record in Paris. Because obviously, the legacy, Champs-Élysées, but it's a bit risky because what if someone like Van Aert comes out of nowhere and Cav was just in the moment sprinting and looks over and sees Van Aert and is like, wow, I'm not going to have time to pass this guy.
But
I think they're going to
you're
sprint.
doubting Cav. How are you doubting Cav?
No, of course, Cav, fair rider, all that. But I think they're going to sprint for him. Like Luke said, he could just have 36 and then he'd have the record by 2. And then it's more work for the next guy who comes along to try to break.
So you're calling Cav for this stage.
Yes, that's right. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm calling Cav for this race.
Okay. I'm call out rider with the second strongest sprint train at this race. Says Bull. Terrible form. He's come 40th. He's come 10th, come 20th. But this is a rider who has off days, and then one of the most incredible sprint performances of the entire world tour. He did it in Paris-Nice this year. He did a sprint stage, out-sprinted Caleb Ewan, Sam Bennett, like full 2 best sprinters in the world, out-sprinted them both. Next day, he came 40th. So like him riding badly doesn't mean he's not going to absolutely demolish everyone. And Says Bull on his good day in 2021 is better than Cavendish on his good day. And today is going to be Says Bull's good day.
All right, then. I don't want to be labeled as a Says Bull hater. I mean, obviously, like I said, World Tour sprinter, extremely good. Like you said, beat Caleb Ewan, beat Sam Bennett. I just, Cav's got this one. Luke, what do you think?
Mark Cavendish. He's like the only sprinter left, to be honest. Like
it's
not to
Phillipson.
be.
He's got a phenomenal lead out, which is why he's so dominant.
Yeah,
he's a good sprinter and
true.
he's got a phenomenal lead out.
Exactly.
I mean, he's also the greatest sprinter of all time. So
Sure.
he's
not
smart.
Currently the greatest sprinter.
But of all time, he is. He's smart. I think that's why he's one of the main races as well as the lead out is. He does the right things. He moves in the right places.
That's experience, right? He has a ton of experience.
Exactly. I mean, because of that, that's what sort of allowed him to be the greatest sprinter of all time. And I think that's what's allowing him to continue on his greatness in this year's tour. All right, let's move into the final time trial, stage 20 from.
So this time trial is flatter than the
Luke.
first. So
I want to hear Luke's pronunciation of the names.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Sorry. Which is it? Stage 19 or 20?
20.
20? The time trial?
Yes.
Libourne. So it's like the French Melbourne, Libourne. The Saint Emilion. Yeah.
Good. So yeah, like you said, this is a flatter time trial. Yeah.
Might not suit Pogacar, Vingegaard as well as the first time trial, but really it's like 2 kilometers longer or like 1.5 kilometers longer. You can really look at the first time trial and the results will be pretty similar across the board.
Yeah. I think
go ahead.
I think on the preview pod I said Mikkel Bjerg. He's been working a lot for the team. I thought that he would, by this stage, obviously doesn't have any more work to do for the team, so he could just absolutely smash it. But based on current form, I think it's a flat TT. It's between Kung and Van Aert.
Not Pogacar. You don't think Pogacar's up there too?
I think he'll be third, but it's flat.
You
It's
think
like,
he'll lose it because he posts up celebrating yellow?
he might, because you saw in 2018, Geraint Thomas did that. He was quite clearly going to win it to Dumoulin. Dumoulin won the stage, but yeah, Geraint Thomas posted. Yeah, that's such a big lead in GC. So I think he might, especially if he hasn't won a road stage. He needs that picture. The team might be yelling in his ear, "Oh, stop right now! We need the sponsorship money." But yeah, I think he will either way. I think between Kung and Van Aert, no, it's a good one.
Who did I predict? Did I predict Pog?
I think you predicted Geraint
Thomas.
Thomas.
Oh yeah. Not Thomas.
And I mean, if he could, I still nice.
I'm gonna say Kung. It'd be
Okay, what about
nice
you,
for him to
Luke?
get the win.
Luke?
Kung is the Swedish. Is it Swedish sprinter?
Swiss.
Time trialist.
Swiss.
Swiss time trial. Yeah, I'm gonna go with him because I think realistically he should be the one winning, not some little climber. So I'm gonna go with him.
There's also Bissiger that we failed to mention. His first TT was sort of derailed by rain. And
Yeah, it's true. He had a terrible start time.
yeah, he was the only one that basically had rain from start to finish. So he could do it as well. But I'm going to go with Will Van Aert because
Yeah.
I want to
Kung,
be different because you guys both said Kung.
right before the tour, Kung beat Bissiger in the Swiss time trial champion. So
Yeah, I think Bissiger will do better though than last time. I think he'll be top 5
for sure. Or unless he gets another like pouring rain
Yeah,
start time.
that was just unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right, stage 21, the final stage in Paris. I think there's only one right answer.
Number 35?
36.
Actually, wait. No. Okay, yeah, you guys keep talking.
36. So we all said Cav on the preview pod. No, I think
I think
I'm not budging. I'm not budging this. We said it before the tour, when people thought Cav was just here for publicity purposes. He's going to be like Froome is currently doing, just for publicity, which is nothing wrong with that. They both had great careers. But no, we believed in Cav. All three of us, we believed in Cav, that Cav would at least win in Paris. We also kind of said it for the memes, but that's besides the point. Cav is going to win.
Number 12, the 12th Tour de France stage win for Andre Greipel.
Greipel. I mean, he does tend to do better in Paris than the other stages throughout the year. Like if you in years that he's consistently been like 10th, he'll get like 5th in Paris. Or years that he's consistently been like 2nd, he'll win it. So he does tend to like that course. However, I'm going with Cav.
I'm gonna go with Cav too, because Bull's gonna win 19, so this will be Cav's 35th in Paris. Posting up,
green,
hands on the head in green, 35, storybook.
It'll be 36 though.
Can't go any other way, can it?
No, there's no other way for that to.
It might be 35, but he'll win it either way. It doesn't really matter. 35 or 36, that doesn't really matter. All right, let's talk about GC a little bit. So we won't write it as predictions, but I just want to chat about the GC race. You guys think first is out of reach? Because I kind of do.
Yeah, I mean, Greipel's got it down in the bag.
Yeah.
There's no way Froome or Cav's catching him. I think, really is just like ISN will be chasing every break. They're not going to let anyone catch Greipel. And I mean, they're certainly not going to send Froome in the break against Greipel.
Yeah, and of course, like ISN, I think they're relatively healthy. They got pretty much everyone there. So if they have to, I think they'll send like Woods and Dan Martin back from the breakaway to the Gruppetto to mark Cav. So I think really there's no chance for anyone other than Greipel. You're right. As much as I love Cav, he's a great rider. He's really proved a lot of doubters wrong this year. But I think Greipel, with the assistance of his co-leader Froome, I think there's no other way around it.
For
All right,
sure.
everyone. Thanks for listening. That brings us to the end of the second rest day podcast.
It's fast.
Oh wait, we have to do the giveaway.
The
Oh my
giveaway.
goodness, I nearly forgot the giveaway.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
So
I just wanted to wrap it up. So I thought it'd be
let me do
fun.
the giveaway real quick. Let me grab my box.
Luke is grabbing his box. We
This
randomly
year, in the
One
world
second.
of 2021 cycling, the 2021 Zone 2 podcast Born giveaway. Someone's gonna win this cool box with a bunch of stuff in it, including water bottles. And that person is dun, 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 Aiden Razazazadek. So
Woo.
Oh wow, that was good. That was good.
Aiden
Eden, my
Razazadek.
man.
This is
I'm
yours.
not
job.
even gonna try to pronounce. It's like
No, I can't.
I heard
I don't know.
Ethan say it once when I was riding with Ethan, and then I was like, I should remember how that's pronounced, but I don't. So Aiden,
Yeah,
if next time I see you, you want to like tell me how to pronounce your name, I will remember.
Aiden, yeah, I'll be in touch trying to get this to you. Okay, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week to recap the tour. GC, green jersey, polka dot, white jersey, super combative prize. And will Cav get the 35th stage?
Yes.
Yes, he will.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.